Hello, I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is going to be quite short. We're just going to be dividing a rational function and finding its remainder, and we're also going to be expanding a binomial function. A binomial. Is it a function? It is, yes. So we're going to be expanding a binomial and dividing a rational function. Starting with the first one, we have 2x cubed minus 3x squared, which is added to 4x plus 5. And it's divided by x plus 2. So this is how you write it. The numerator is simply inside. What do you want to call this? I truly don't know what the name of this is. But yeah, it's going to be inside of it. And x plus 2 is to the left of the numerator. Now, how do we start dividing this? Well, we have 2x cubed, right? And we have x. What number do I multiply by x gives me 2x cubed? If I multiply x by 2x squared, x times 2x squared, I do get 2x cubed, right? And then you multiply 2 by 2x squared, what are you left with? You're left with 4x squared. Now you simply subtract them. So 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. Negative 3x squared minus 4x squared, so negative 3x squared minus 4x squared is simply equal to what? Negative 7x squared. You write that down, negative 7x squared. And then you simply write what's left, which is 4x plus 5. Now what number do I multiply by x gives me negative 7x squared? Isn't it simply negative 7x? So x by negative 7x is negative 7x squared. Then 2 by negative 7x is simply negative 14x. There you go. So negative 7x squared and negative 7x squared do cancel out. 14x minus negative 14x equals to 18x, right? So now I have 18x added to 5. What number do I multiply by x gives me 18x? Well, it's simply 18, right? So x by 18, we get 18x. And then you're multiplying 2 by 18, which equals to what? 32, right? Is that correct? Yes. I'm sorry, 36. Okay. I need to work on my on my multiplication skills. So 18x minus 18x, those cancel out. We have 5 minus 36, which is what? Negative 31. So this is your remainder. And yeah, that's it. So what does this tell you? This tells you that if I multiply x plus 2 by 2x squared minus 17x plus 18, then I subtract negative 32, this equals to 2x cubed all the way to 5, which is negative 3x squared plus 4x plus 5. Okay? You don't really need to multiply these two, but that's it. Now moving on to the binomial, which is quite simple. It's very easy. It's not that complicated. It may seem hard at first because you're seeing new symbols, but it's very, very easy. Now, this symbol is the summation. So let me tell you this. Well, we're gonna solve this example. I'm pretty sure you're gonna understand it just from the example. Like, I don't really need to give you a general formula in order to understand it. You can understand it from the example. Anyways, so x plus 4 is raised to the power of 5, right? Oops. So it's raised to the power of 5. We write that down. And if we want to start with a term, we're going to start with the first term where k equals to 0. Now you may ask, what is k and all of that? Don't worry. We're starting with the first term, which starts with k equal to 0. The second term would be k equal to 1. The third term is k equal to 2, and so on, right? I'm sorry, this is the fourth term, which k equals to 4. I'm sorry, 3. Now, you always write 5 at the top of the summation, and you start with k equal to 0. We have simply 5 as the top term, right? And this is k, which is 0 in this case. Now, what's the first term of this binomial? It's x, right? You write down x, and you simply write 5 minus k. What's the second term? It's 4, right? You write down 4, and you raise it to the power of k. It is that simple. So we're going to solve the first one. Let's plug in the values. We write down 5, you write down 0, you have 5 and 0. We're doing a factorial in this case. I'll explain it in 1 second. X to the power of 5 minus 0 multiplied by 4 to the power of 0. Now, how do I deal with a factorial? You need to understand that, let's say this is n and this is r. This is simply n factorial divided by r factorial, n minus r factorial. Now, you may ask, what is a factorial, right? I'm not sure if you've taken factorials before, but I'm going to explain that right now. Let's say I have 4 factorial. 4 factorial is simply 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 3 factorial is simply 3 times 2 times 1. 5 factorial is simply 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. It's that simple. So in this case, I have 5, 0, right? So we have 5 factorial, except for 0 factorial. Yeah, memorize this, that 0 factorial equals to 1. Now you may say, oh, well, it's just 0, right? No. 0 factorial equals to 1. Now, moving on, I can prove this later on if you want. We have 5 factorial, which is divided by 0 factorial, and we have 5 minus 0 factorial, right? Like n is just 5, r is 0, right? I'm just plugging them in, and 5 minus 0. What do I have now? I have 5 factorial. Well, this is just 1, right? Multiplied by 5 factorial. Well, 5 factorial divided by 5 factorial is just equal to 1, so this equals to 1. So now I have the first value is simply 1, x to the power of 5 multiplied by 1, which is just x to the power of 5, and that's it. So the first term is x to the power of 5. Now I do suggest, actually, let's keep this on the board. I was going to say copy this down. I'm just going to keep it on the board anyways. Moving on to the second term, you're going to have to finish all the terms. This is the first term. The second term is 5, and then you start counting. If I started with k equal to 0, now I move on to k equal to 1. I have 5, 1, and we have x to the power of 5 minus 1, and 4 to the power of 1. That's it. So how do I deal with 5, 1? You simply write that down. What is it equal to? It's 5 factorial divided by 1 factorial, 5 minus 1 factorial, which is simply what? 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 1 factorial is just 1. And this is 4 factorial, right? What is 4 factorial? It's 4 by 3 by 2 by 1. These cancel out. The answer is simply 5. So now I have 5 multiplied by x to the power of 4 multiplied by 4, which is simply 20x4. That's it. Moving on to the next one, we have 5, 2. You write that down, 5, 2. We have x, 5 minus 2, which is 3. Then you have 4 to the power of 2. How do I deal with this? 5 factorial, 2 factorial, 5 minus 3, which is, 5 minus 2, which is simply 3 factorial. Now this is 5 by 4 by 3 by 2 by 1. 2 multiplied by 3 by 2 by 1, right? These cancel out. You have 5 by 4, which is 20, divided by 2, which equals to 10, and that's it. Now you're simply left with 10x by 3 multiplied by 4 squared, which is 16. 16 times 10, which is 160, x cubed, and that's your third term, right? x5 is the first one, x4, x cubed. Okay, that's correct. Moving on to, we have what, 5, 3. Then you simply do 5, 3. Oops. And then you write down x to the power of 2, because 5 minus 3. And then you do 4 cubed. How do I deal with this? It's very simple. You can do it on the calculator. I'm going to teach you how to deal with factorials on the calculator, so you don't really need to do this yourself. Is there a factorial on the... Yes, there is. So the good part is that you don't really need to do this whole factorial thing, because you can just do it on the calculator. I'm pretty sure your calculator does have a factorial option, so I'm doing that really quick. We have, to deal with the 3, we have 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial, and then we have 5 minus 3, which is simply 2 factorial. Actually, it's the same exact answer, as you can tell, right? Because 3 factorial times 2 factorial is just 2 factorial times 3 factorial, which equals to 10. Okay, 10x squared times 4 cubed. Doing the math, we're going to be left with 4 cubed. Where is the here it is. Okay, times, okay, so it's 640x squared. Now let's do the remaining numbers. Let me erase this really quick. Okay, now you don't really need to do this anymore. You could just plug it in. Forgot that the calculator has an option. So now I have 5, 4. We simply do 5, 4. You write down x, 5 minus 4, which is just 1. Then you write 4 to the power of 4. I'm going to plug this into the calculator. It's simply 5 factorial divided. Actually, don't really need to. Like 5 minus 4 is just 1 factorial. And this is equal to 5, right? Okay, so what do I have? I simply have 5 multiplied by x1. Then you have 4 to the power of 4, which equals to what? 4. Okay, it equals to 256 times 5. Okay, so it's 1280x. Last but not least, we have 5, 5. Let's write that down. This equals to 1. And we have x to the power of 0 multiplied by 4 to the power of 5. You write this down. We have, remember, 5 factorial divided by 5 factorial, then you have 0 factorial, so just equal to 1. And this is equal to 1. This is, let's do it really quick. It equals to 1024. That's it. Okay. So let's have a look at our elements. We have x5, write that down, plus 20x4, which is the second one. Then you have the third one, which is 160x cubed. Then we have this one, which is 640x squared. The last term, 1280x, the last x, And then we have this, which is 1024. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It does seem confusing at first. I suggest you watch this video twice, not once. And please don't watch it at 1.5. What else do we have to say? Yeah, I do have one more example. 1 second. Bear with me. I'm not going to solve the whole thing. Don't worry. Let's say I have x plus 2y to the power of 6. How do I do this? Well, remember, you always write down the power first, so 6. Then you start at k equal to 0. Then you write down 6, 0, right? The first term is x, which is 6 minus 0. The second term is simply 2y. It would be raised to the power of 0. Let's say the second one, it would be 6. Then you do 1. That would be 6, 1. Then you simply do x to the power of 6 minus 1. Then you simply do 2y to the power of 1. It's that simple. Let's say this the third one, you do 6, 2, write down 6. Remember, you can do this on the calculator, 6, 2, just type it in. It's that simple. We have x to the power of 6 minus 2. Then you have 2y to the power of 2. Let's say the third one, 6, 3, you write down 6, 3. You do x to the power of 6 minus 3. Then you write down 2y to the power of 3. Now what is this? This is simply 2 cubed, which is 8. Then you write down y cubed. You multiply it by x to the power of 3. You find this, and that's it. And I do suggest though, so if I have nr, remember this. It's n factorial divided by r factorial n minus r factorial. I suggest you memorize this. Why? Because you never know. You may get a question where you can't use a calculator, right? So I suggest you do memorize this. N factorial divided by r factorial n minus r factorial. That is pretty much it for today's video. And yeah, it just covers how to divide polynomial functions and how to find the terms of a binomial function if it has a degree greater than 2. If it has a degree that's equal to 2, so let's say x plus 4 squared, then you don't really need to do all of this. You can just do x plus 4, x plus 4. You distribute, right? And that's it. Okay, anyways, thank you for watching, and yeah, that was it.